Hi, I'm Michelle from the Bar SC Ranch. Today we're going to be talking about the equipment that you need on yourself and on your horse to keep you safe during a long trail ride. Here on the ranch, trail riding is a really big activity. We have over 2,000 acres to roam and ride on. That means when we go on a trail ride though, we need to be prepared. We like to run all of our horsemanship and things that we do with our horses through CHA, Certified Horsemanship Association guidelines. That ensures that we as people and our horses stay as safe as possible. I'm going to run through the tools that we need to have on our person and on our horse to have a safe trail ride. So before we can actually put the equipment on ourselves and on our horse for our trail ride, we need to make sure that we have prepped our horse for the trail ride first. So we actually have another video, so check that out on how you can prepare your horse mentally and physically for a trail ride. But today I am going to briefly just mention that we need to make sure our horse is clean before we place our saddle or bridle on, just to make sure that the horse is 100% comfortable when we take that ride. So first we need to make sure that your horse is clean underneath the saddle and bridle areas. The most important areas under the saddle are along the horse's back or top line. Make sure there's no mud or dirt under there. We can move down and make sure there's no mud or dirt underneath the horse's cinch or girth area. And we also want to make sure that there's no mud or anything caked right behind the elbow area. We also lastly want to make sure that we check the horse's hooves and make sure there's no rocks or anything in the hooves that would be uncomfortable. It would be great if you want to go check out our video on horse grooming. We can go into extreme detail on how we use the tools to groom horses and make sure everything's safe for your ride on that video. When thinking about the bridle, we want to make sure that the area underneath is clean, but we also want to make sure that the bridle fits properly and that it's in good repair. We also have a video on bridle fit and how to keep your tack clean and in good repair. You can reference those videos as well. We want to make sure that the saddle is a good fitting saddle, that it doesn't pinch the horse in any way. We want to make sure that your pad is a good, clean, well-fitting pad that's pressed up into the gullet of your saddle so that it won't rub across the withers, especially on a long trail ride. We want to make sure that the girth or cinch area is lying flat, that it's not twisted or pinching the horse in any way. All right, so now that your horse is ready, you as a person are ready to get your tools and head out on a trail ride. We here at the ranch, like I was saying, we have over 2,000 acres that we can go roam on. So sometimes we are gone for 4 and 5 or 6 hours at a time or even longer. When that happens, you want to make sure that you're wearing a long sleeve shirt, or at least bring a long sleeve shirt in case the weather changes, it gets cold, or you need to keep the sun off of your bare exposed skin. You also want to always wear a hat, or we recommend when you're riding that you always wear a helmet. But anything, a helmet with a brim or a hat with a brim, just to keep the sun off of your face. You want to make sure that you're always wearing your boots with a heel. And lastly, that you're wearing a belt. The belt is important because it can be used for all kinds of things. I've been on trail rides where my friends have broken their bridle and they did not have a halter underneath their bridle, and I had to use my belt to actually fix part of that bridle. So it's very important to wear a belt and bring it on those long trail rides. Under your bridle, we want to make sure that we have a good fitting halter. The halter is going to be important in case you want to stop and tie your horse up to a tree, a fence post, or if you need to get off for any other reason, you can restrain your horse really easily with something that's going to not be a problem if it breaks. Your bridle, you don't want to break your bridle. The lead rope, you always want to bring a lead rope so that you can tie your horse up. We need to secure it either around the horse's neck with a safe knot underneath their neck, or we can use a half hitch kind of system where we tie the lead rope to the horn of the saddle. Now that I've talked about what we need to be wearing when we go on our long trail ride, let's talk about what we need to bring. There are many different ways that you can carry your tools. I'm going to talk about the way that I like to carry our tools. We got an Equimedic bag. This is a saddle bag. It fits over the saddle horn of your horse's saddle and secures snugly to the saddle. Whatever you carry your equipment in needs to fit snugly either to your back, to your person, or to your saddle so that it doesn't flap around and scare your horse or scare other people's horses. So just take that into consideration. All right, now we're going to talk about what tools I actually like to bring in there. First off, when we are going out and we're going to be away from our common area, we take a walkie-talkie. We also leave a person in the common area so that if something goes bad on the trail, we can walkie-talkie back to the main ranch and get whatever help we need. If you're just trail riding with your friends and you have cell reception, that's great. In your bag, just make sure you have your cell phone in there, and obviously just use it if you have an emergency. Another tool that we like to use is a hoof pick. My hoof pick attaches right here to my saddle bag. It could also be on your belt. You want to have it somewhere where it's really easy to get to, because a lot of times that's an item that you need to use the most. So it's really great to have it. I have it right on my saddle bag. Another item that we like to have in our possession when we're going out on long trail rides is sunscreen, bug spray, things like that. So they fit into my bag here. Speaking of bug spray, it's really important to have, make sure that you have fly sprayed your horse before you go on the trail ride. And sometimes I carry a wipe of fly spray that I can reapply if I need it when I'm out on the trail. We also have a staff member who is anaphylactic to a number of different things we could encounter. So I think it's really, really important to carry an EpiPen. When we are in our backcountry, it can take a long time to get help. So we carry 2 EpiPens just to give that extra amount of time. One EpiPen is supposed to last for 20 minutes. We need 40 minutes to make sure we could get medical help to somebody living way out here. So that's just something to consider depending on where you are trail riding. Another thing that we have is a snake bite and bee sting removal kit. That way, in case we come across bees or snakes, we can use this kit. It's very helpful. We also have a snake kit for our horses. So it doesn't happen often, but occasionally while your horse is tied up, maybe it comes in contact with a snake. This will save your horse's life. The swelling in the nose, a horse needs to be able to breathe. This tubing will keep that airway open until we can get help from the veterinarian. So this is an awesome little tool that we love. I carry a bunch of other things like sunglasses and a flashlight, especially if you happen to be out after dark. A lot of times you don't intend to be out after dark, but it winds up becoming dark anyways. So I carry a good high-powered little flashlight. And then a number of things like gauze, Band-Aids, disinfectant, and chapstick. So all of that fits into my cool little handy dandy bag here. The last item that you should consider bringing for yourself would be water. So just depending on what kind of a trail ride you're planning on taking, you could take a little bit of water or a lot of water, maybe even a filter if you're going for hours and hours. But we have water in this bag as well. So those are just a few of the items that are mandatory when you're a guide or riding in our backcountry trails. And I hope that those items will be really helpful for you as you go on your long trail rides as well.